What's good? This is Marcus the Fingaz, Dafingaz, back with another episode of the Syncrets To Success podcast. This is a podcast. We're diving in on 30 days. This is day 17. 17. And we're diving in 30 days or 31-ish days about sync licensing, talking about different aspects of sync, trailer music, things like that. And I'm Fingaz. I am a composer producer. I've worked with Disney, MTV, Stars, Smithsonian, National Geographic, composed music for different projects, worked with independent artists, independent films, museum exhibits, all kinds of things. And I have been diving into sync and trailer music really heavily ever since the pandemic started, and then over the last year, really focusing on trailer music, which has been an interesting journey. In this episode, day 17 of Syncrets To Success, the podcast, we're going to dive into a topic that every composer, musician encounters in their sync licensing journey, navigating rejections. That is, being rejected. It's not just about dealing with rejections, it's about turning it into a learning experience that will propel us forward. Dealing with rejection and the sync licensing process is a reality that we all must confront. Every composer faces it at some point. It's essential to maintain like a positive mindset and understand that rejection isn't a reflection of our talent or our worth as an artist. It's an opportunity for us to learn, grow, and refine our approach. Strategies for learning from rejection and improving our music involve seeking feedback from trusted sources, analyzing why a pitch was rejected. Was it a mismatch with the visuals, the mood, the style? Did it not match the brief? Of course, if it's not on deadline, it's not even going to be accepted. And we have to use this feedback to make informed decisions on how to adjust our compositions and pitch more effectively in the future. Personally, I've had music rejected. I don't want to say every week, but music can be rejected often. If you're making a lot of music, be prepared for a lot of rejection. I work with one library in particular where we submit, they have a project management platform, and we submit our music there, and they will say, accepted or not accepted. But when they say not accepted, they will explain why. They will say, this might fit on this other project we're working on, or do you have something more aligned with this thing? So they give feedback. In other cases, there are libraries who just won't accept it, and I've gotten something that's just as simple as pass, or we're not going to sign this at this time, with no explanation. If you don't get an explanation, you might, if you want to ask for it, you can, but you can just either keep it moving. You can try to figure out what went wrong. I've had some songs rejected by one library, especially trailerizations. I've had trailerizations rejected by a library, and I send the same exact song track to another library and they sign it, no problem. So you also have that aspect. What works for one might not work for another, and what doesn't work for another might work for another. So you have so many options, and with so many options for trailer and sync, we have a lot of libraries to choose from, like hundreds of libraries to choose from. So one might not like it, but another one might. So we have those options also. With rejection, we can also take what we learned from the rejection and try to get feedback from people we trust. Like, if you trust someone in the sync licensing space, you say, hey, I submitted to this library, it didn't get accepted. Can you maybe share why you think it didn't get accepted? Again, it does help to get the perspective of the person who did the rejecting, but a lot of times they might not have the time to do that. So remember that sync licensing is subjective. A rejection doesn't mean our music isn't good. It simply just didn't align with the specific needs of that project or client. And keep in mind that what may not work for one project might be a perfect fit for another. Here's one thing that I will say, the gift and the curse of Disco. I will include a Disco link to sign up for Disco. Disco is the preferred platform of most music supervisors, at least most that I've come across, for sharing music with music supervisors, sync libraries, things like that. Disco is the preferred platform. The gift and curse of Disco is that you can, even on the light level, the light tier, which if you do sign up with the link, you will get 2 free months, basically $20 credit, and I will also get 2 free months of the light tier of Disco. So you get $20 credit for Disco, so you can use that and apply that to your membership to Disco. But you can, at the light level even, you can see when your tracks were accessed and if they downloaded it and things like that. The problem is, I submit, there's one library particularly that I work with, and I submit to them through Disco, and it would be for like a deadline. They're like, hey, we need a track, tonight. And I would have the track and I would submit it, and a couple weeks later, a month later, I'll go see, like, did they listen to this? And I can go to Disco and I can see that they didn't listen to the track. And I'm like, okay, I spent all this time putting this track together. I submitted it to them on time by the deadline, and they didn't even listen to it. And I can jump to a lot of conclusions. With one library in particular, this happened a lot of times. So I actually started submitting to them less because I don't feel like my music will get heard or represented. It might cut through every once in a while, but for the most part, I've noticed more and more that my music is being listened to less. And if it is listened to, it's not downloaded or things like that. So I'm thinking that either for those things that I am going for, and I know who works at this library, the composers, so chances of me cutting through are slim as it is. But I know that if I submit something, chances are they're probably going to go with their preferred composers on that aspect. But I don't always enter it that way. There's some opportunities where I'm just going to go for it, even though I know that who I'm up against and what I'm up against. So it's one of those fingers crossed. So you can be rejected. Your music might not even get listened to, but you have to remember these things. I forgot who said it, but you create, submit, forget, repeat. Create the music, submit it to opportunities, forget all about it, and repeat the cycles. Create something else for another opportunity, and just keep doing it with different libraries, different briefs, different trailer companies. That's how you start to build your catalog and to build your sync licensing residual game once you start getting placements. So had to throw that in there. Staying persistent and motivated in the face of challenges is key. Rejections are part of the journey. As I mentioned, I get rejected. And the composers who succeed are the ones who use them as stepping stones to improvement. Embrace rejection as an opportunity to push your boundaries, enhance your skills, and refine your unique musical voice. Leveraging feedback from rejected pitches can be a transformative process. Constructive criticism allows us to refine our pitching and composing approach, and by applying these insights, we're not just improving our rejected music, we are evolving as a composer, and increasing our chances of success in the future. One more story for you. When I started diving into trailer music, about I'd say February of 2022, I started sending out music to libraries, and most libraries rejected the music that I had because it wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. The music wasn't ready. The sounds wasn't there. The formulas were there. Every piece of feedback I got, I created a note in Apple Notes, and I started keeping note of the feedback I've been getting. Someone might say you need to get more strings. Someone say invest in these types of plugins. Get Keep Force libraries, Heavy Honesty libraries, AVA music libraries. Get some Spitfire audio stuff. Get some better reverbs. Layer your sounds. So I started taking all these notes and reading them, and then the notes that I started seeing often from like 3 or 4 different people, better strings, more strings, layers. I'm like, okay, that's one that is very important because 5 people are telling me to do this. I need to do this. And even if it's one person, if it's the right person to listen to, that's where knowing the sources of the criticism and feedback is key. Knowing what they can do, what the placements they've had, what they are known for, that feedback is as good as the source it's coming from. So the libraries I was trying to get with back in 2022 started coming around about a year later when my music was much better. I kept doing the trailer music, studying, taking courses, learning things, getting the sounds I needed, and to where I'm at now. I'm still getting better, but I'm way better now than I was at that time in early 2022, and I know why libraries were rejecting the sound I had, because compared to the sounds that I have now, and the sounds that I'm creating now, it's much better than what it was back then. But shout out to the libraries that did accept me back then, but I am much better now. And I can reach back out to those libraries, and I have reached back out to some of them, and some of them have accepted. Some of them still reject, so it's just hit or miss. You just never know. So as composers, our sync licensing journey is a series of peaks and valleys. It's like a mountain. Navigating rejections with resilience and learning from them is what separates those who thrive from those who falter. By facing rejection head-on and using it as a stepping stone to growth, we build a foundation for long-lasting success in sync licensing. That wraps up day 17 of Syncrets to Success as we continue this journey into sync. 30 days, 31-ish days. Come back tomorrow. Be sure to join the Facebook group Syncrets to Success. I'll include a link in the description. Also, if you are interested in disco, sign up using the link below. That is an affiliate link, and we both will get $20, which is good for 2 free months of the light tier if you join disco using that link below. I will see you tomorrow as we talk more about sync licensing on day 18. All right, this is the Fingaz. Be safe and be well, everyone. All right, peace.